Okay, good afternoon. So we've started the dress code Christmas competition this week, and all of the games that you're making have to include an elf. So I thought we might make a little 3D elf for this week's challenge. It's a practice for the box modelling techniques we've done over the last couple of weeks, and simple texturing. And the things we're going to focus on are loop cuts and selecting different parts of our meshes. So let's start again. In Blender, we're going to start with this cube. Let's put a subdivision surface modifier on by doing Control and 1, or I'm going to go for Control and 2. Right click and shade auto smooth will mean it's not flat, it's smooth. And we'll put a mirror modifier, so that's the spanner. Add a modifier, and we want a mirror in the x-axis. There we go. Right, before we go any further, I'm going to add a material to be green elfy colour. And we won't see the colour until we change from solid shading to material shading. Then we can go into edit mode by pressing tab on the keyboard. And we should be able to change this cube into an elf with reasonably minimal effort. Let's see. So the default selection thing is selecting a vertex. I want to change that to be selecting a face by pressing 3 on the keyboard or clicking up here. If I get this one, I can E to extrude. So that is going to be the kind of shoulders. I'll press S to scale it down a little bit. This bit, I'll E to extrude and S to scale down. And maybe I'll make the legs come out of this bit. So E to extrude. Now, that doesn't look much like a leg to me, so I'm going to have to rotate it round. And then I want to rotate it around the red line, and the red line for me is the x-axis, so I'm going to press X and GY to move it in, something like that, and then E to extrude. However, it's not looking very mirrored. Why not? I think because my mirror is in the wrong axis. There we go, that's better. I've turned off mirroring in the x-axis, I've switched it on in the y-axis. That's better. Right. That leg looks weird. Let's go into vertex mode and get that vertex, shift and click on that one, and S to scale until it's a bit more of a rectangle. Pressing 3 on the keyboard to select faces. I can now scale it in the red axis, SX, that's better. E to extrude, S to scale, E to extrude, E to extrude again for a little bit that we can extrude out for the foot. Never seen an elf, but I'm told that they have long, curly feet. So if we rotate that around the y-axis, RY, E to extrude, S to scale, RY, E to extrude, S to scale. And I think it would look better if we have the heels coming out a little bit. So E to extrude, there we go. Right, how do we put some stripes on? Because I think elves should have white and red stripes on their trousers. I'm going to need Control and R for some loop cuts. If you hover over something and then scroll your mouse wheel up, you can choose how many stripes you're going to put on. Something like that looks good, and then you choose where the stripes go. And then if I go back to face mode by pressing 3, I don't want to select all of them individually. If you hold down Alt and click, depending on where you click, it should let you, there we go, select a loop. And that's really handy. So let's get a new material now, a new slot, a new material, and assign it. Alt and click on this one. Come on, that's better. Sometimes you've got to click a couple of times. I don't really know what the difference is. Oops, I was changing the existing one. Didn't mean to do that. That one should be white. A new material should be red, and then we assign it. Aha, that's better. That one's going to be white. Control R for some more loop cuts in here, something like that. Yep, that'll do. 3 Alt click. Come on, that's better. Yes, got it. That one's going to be red. This one's going to be white. I'm sure there's a better way to do this, but this is quite satisfying. Right, now let's put a belt on. Control and R up here. I want you to be practicing these loop cuts and then with the face selected. That's 3 on the keyboard. Alt and click. Come on. If we click in the right place, there we go. We can put a little belt on and pull some arms out. That sounds painful. 3 on the keyboard. E to extrude. That'll do some shoulders. R and X to rotate. Maybe make them a bit smaller. E to extrude. Maybe R, X, E to extrude, S to scale. We need some hands. Last time I drew hands, it looked like they were giving everyone the finger, so I won't attempt to do that while I'm recording, because it will go horribly wrong. But we can have a neck, the middle of the head, the top of the head. That'll do, probably. Right, useful keyboard shortcuts then. If you have a face selected and you press Control and plus on the numpad, that's the calculator part of the keyboard on your right, you can select either less, that's Control minus, or Control plus to select more. Right, we need a skin tone. I don't know what skin tone elves are. I'm going to make an assumption that they're kind of a weird yellowy colour. So Control and plus down here, something like that. Right, I want 2 eyes. So I'll Shift A and add a cube, and because I've got a subdivision surface modifier on, it looks like it's a sphere. If I make this white, G, let's see, S to scale it down, GY, and we've got a mirror modifier on as well, so we can put it wherever we want. GX or GY, oof, really too high. There we go. Shift D to duplicate, S to scale. Ugh, what's happened to these eyes? I'm just pressing G, X and GY, and then I want the black pupil-y bit. There we go, assign that. Then, let's add a nose. So Shift D, again, down here. Doesn't look very nose-like. Let's Control Z, Shift A, add a cube. That's better. GZ. What colour should the nose be? I'm not entirely sure. Maybe the same skin tone. And then Shift DZ. I'm going to make a moustache. SZ to squidge it that way. SY to squidge it that way. Shift DZ. And then this bit, I'm just going to pull out. E to extrude. S to scale. G. Oh, should we have a forked beard? That's quite fun. And it's bald, and it's got no ears, and it's got no hands. Should probably put a Christmas hat on. Let's make that red. Oh my goodness, that's terrifying. It's like a bulbous head. Don't like that. GZ. E to extrude. And then finally, Shift A will add a little blob, a white blob on top. There we go. Now, this is irritating. I don't know if there's a way around it, but when you add a new thing with Shift A, it doesn't stay in smooth mode. It goes back to flat mode. The only way I know of fixing it, and if you can find a better way, I'd love to know, go back into object mode with tab, right click, and then do shade smooth. So that is my elf. You've got until the end of Game Dev Club.